Welcome, everybody. I'm John Fairless, and it's awfully good to have you back again with us here in the Connection Cafe. Today, we're finishing up sort of a short mini series we've had on breathing and how, although we all know how to do it, in and out, lots of times every day, there's a lot we can learn about the ways to breathe, to not breathe, and sometimes just generally slow down to help improve our lives. Today, we're speaking about breathing and praying and making them both natural. We've spent several sessions talking about our breathing, how it integrates with and supports our life's very energy. And since we're fascinated here at the cafe with the connections and intersections of the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit, I was absolutely thrilled to read about the science behind an ancient spiritual practice that is very near and dear to my own heart: prayer. I've previously quoted best-selling author James Nestor, sharing some insights from his latest book, Breath. In his chapter on the benefits of slowing our breathing down, he writes this: when Buddhist monks chant their most popular mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, each spoken phrase lasts 6 seconds as it is sung, with a pause of about 6 seconds to inhale. The Satanama chant, one of the best-known techniques in Kundalini Yoga, also takes 6 seconds to vocalize, followed by 6 seconds to breathe. In fact, Japanese, African, Hawaiian, Native American, Buddhist, Taoist, Christian, all of these cultures and religions have somehow developed the same prayer techniques requiring the same breathing patterns. Nestor goes on to tell about a time in 2001. Researchers at the University of Pavia in Italy gathered 24 subjects, covered them with sensors all over their bodies to measure blood flow, heart rate, and nervous system feedback. Then they had them recite a Buddhist mantra, as well as the Latin version of the Rosary, the Catholic prayer cycle of the Ave Maria. They were stunned to find that the average number of breaths for each cycle was almost exactly, and that's a quote, almost exactly identical to their previous research, just a little bit quicker. The pace of the Hindu, Taoist, and Native American prayers, and now in this experiment, 5.5 breaths a minute. 5.5 breaths. Nestor goes on to state that whenever these subjects followed this slow breathing pattern, 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out, we've been talking about that, blood flow to the brain increased, and the systems in the body entered a state of coherence, where the functions of the heart, the circulation, and the nervous system are coordinated to peak efficiency. To quote one of my favorites, Gomer Pyle, surprise, surprise, surprise. The most efficient breathing rhythm for the human body, as determined by science, is 5.5 second inhales followed by 5.5 second exhales. The same pattern as the Rosary. Spooky? That's not the word I would choose, but pretty cool nonetheless. So, breathing is good and praying is good, But how do we go about getting better at each of those? Nancy Veens correctly teaches that for Christians and Jews, the linguistic connection between spirit and breath prayer is unambiguous in the Bible. Both the Hebrew word ruach and the Greek word pneuma mean breath, wind, and spirit. The simplicity of breathing can relieve us from complicating our prayers. You'll find Nancy's work on a great blog called Biologos, and that link is in the written version of this column for today. When it comes to breathing and praying, we really can keep it simple. As Lacey Clark Ellman writes for the Seattle Pilgrim Principles blog, she says, breath prayer is as informal as they come, requiring only a simple phrase and the breath that you carry with you every moment throughout the day. While it is undoubtedly valuable when we practice in silence and solitude for an extended period of time, again, science comes in and tells us that 12 minutes of deep breathing each day is enough to transform our minds. Now, isn't it interesting that 5.5 plus 5.5, let's see, that's about 11, and you do 5.5 of those every minute, and then you do about 11 or 12 minutes. A lot of connections going on here. But we know that we can practice breath prayer just during everyday tasks, like washing the dishes or while you're driving to work. You can allow even the most mundane moments of the day to be whitewashed with the sacred. Here's what Lacey offers as a very simple 1-2-3 outline for breath prayer. First, just choose a phrase. A pair of words is great. It could be a verse from the Bible. It could be something that you just want to speak. Maybe she suggests a name for God, followed by a desire, spirit, peace. You can use the inward breath to name what you would like to receive, and your outward breath to state what you would like to release. That's one of the things we do in our guided meditation classes and gatherings, and more about that in just a moment. Simply breathe in and out, with the first part of your prayer coming to mind on the inward breath, and then the latter half connecting with the outer breath. Continue your prayer then for a set period of time, or simply until you feel you have reached a sense of inner stillness by dwelling in the presence of God, of the holy, of the divine, of the universe. For those of you who'd be interested in taking it even further, in the Christian scriptural tradition, which is the main one I know, the same thing applies for other wisdom texts, I'm quite sure. So you could build your own. Author Sarah Bessey has offered this piece in a newsletter that she writes called Field Notes. She takes pieces of scripture, for example, from Matthew 11:28-30. Inhale, humble and gentle one. Exhale, you are rest for my soul. Get it? Humble and gentle one. You are rest for my soul. In and out. Romans 8 says this, nothing can separate me from the love of God. Psalm 46:10, that's a favorite. Be still in and know that you are God. Out. Little piece of a very famous prayer the Lord's Prayer in Matthew chapter 6. Breathe in on earth, breathe out as it is in heaven. Or from the 23rd Psalm, we often know it as the Lord is my shepherd. You could take just a piece of it and breathe in, I will not be afraid. And breathe out, for you are with me. And finally, from Philippians 4:7, peace of Christ, guard my heart and mind. I'd love to hear about you trying some of those out and just seeing how they work for you. That's going to wrap up our notes on breathing for the time being, and how learning a little bit more about it can bring us some very real and tangible physical, mental, and even spiritual benefits. I want to let you know that coming in October, we're going to be opening up our brand spanking new website, theconnection.cafe, along with some new course offerings. We're going to have an announcement for the new weekly live meditation that we're going to offer a couple of times a week. To say I'm excited would be one of the more tragic understatements of my life. Keep your eyes peeled in our newsletter, listen here on our YouTube channel, watch in a variety of places online. We'll be talking about that coming in October. In the meantime, thank you for joining us here at the Connection Cafe. I'm John Fairless. Keep breathing and keep praying, my friend.